I considered not even making this video, but this is the first one where I actually made a script. Gather around everyone, you're such a YouTuber. So we kind of have to, because what else did I waste like hours and hours of research and hours of my time for? Anyway, today we're going to be talking about why I won't cover this topic. And that topic is faking mental disorder or mental disorder cringe or reacting to whatever the fuck. So let's get into it. I'm a YouTuber and this is what I do. So we're actually going to start by covering fake disorder cringe on Reddit. Also, apparently I was banned from Reddit. I haven't been on it in 2 years, but pop off. So on Reddit, there is fake disorder cringe, which is a whole little subreddit about basically what the title is. People faking disorders and they're cringe. It's basically just TikToks of people stimming or having special interests in talking about them, or black women being autistic, because apparently black women with autism don't exist. That's the argument. In general, it is just a cesspool for homophobia, transphobia, racism, blatant, ableism, of course, and misogyny, of course, because women are either faking ADHD or they just don't have ADHD because that's not something women do, or they are faking autism because, again, that's not something women do. The reason that I say transphobia is I don't know if they're still up, but there has been a lot of weird transphobic rhetoric and a misdiagnosis of gender dysphoria, or the belief that gender dysphoria is, I don't even know. And it's just ignorant. That's the best way that I can describe fake disorder cringe. It's just ignorant, blatant ignorance, and that pisses me off. And where do most of these come from? They come from TikTok, which is a whole nother subset that we're going to talk about right now. On TikTok, as with any social media whatsoever, people will do anything for a like, they'll do anything for a follow, they'll do anything for a reply. That leads to dogpiling, and dogpiling happens a lot, and it happens a lot for a lot of different things. What I've been seeing a lot of is fake disorder bashing. Fake disorder. Whatever. But not whatever, because it fucking sucks. One person says that they're faking it on Reddit. Everybody will talk about that. I have a whole theory about that. We're gonna talk about that too. And the most prominent case that I can think of is a creator that I love, Chloe Hayden, who was driven off of social media because apparently she isn't allowed to stim at humpback whales. She isn't allowed to have a special interest and be excited about the special interest because that's cringe. Her existing and having autism is cringe. Be so fucking for real. Like I said, people will do anything for a like, they'll do anything for a follow, they'll do anything for a reply, they'll do anything for attention, which is exactly what's happening with fake disorders. And unfortunately, people with disorders who can certifiably say are being cringe because they can't be ruled out for having that disorder because they're certified, so they have to be cringe instead, which is just, I wouldn't say interesting, I'd say bullshit. That's what it, cause it's bullshit. And TikTok moves over to YouTube, which is the next point that I'm going to talk about. Videos on YouTube are put up by numerous creators. There are hundreds of millions that are put up, and a good percentage of those will end up being about this fake disorder cringe shit. Disorder is a probably trending topic. Put it in your little title. blah blah blah, people click on the video, people get an opinion or already have an opinion. Usually when people comment on YouTube, they already have an opinion, and stop trying to change people's minds. They won't be changed. You're just gonna have a fight in a YouTube comment section and you're gonna look the fool. Period. And unfortunately, a lot of creators that I really enjoy and really get inspired by end up covering this topic with no tact whatsoever. And my question is, why? A good percentage of your viewers, a good percentage of your subscribers have the disorders that you're saying random people are faking, that you see on clipped, edited TikToks on a Reddit page. And my question is why? Genuinely, I don't know. Because the people that are covering these topics are people that I wouldn't expect to do this whatsoever. There's no point for them doing it. There are so many other topics, hundreds of billions of topics that you could cover that need exposure, but you're talking about this? Genuinely, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, you telling me people lie on the internet? It's not just that. Like, I get it. People can be facetious. People can be two-faced on the internet, but you risk your brand. And potentially some of those users that posted those TikToks could be watching your video, could be loving you beforehand, and suddenly you've just said that they don't have the disorder that they probably can certifiably say they do. And if they can't certify it, they know themselves better than you know them and better than a Redditor knows them. Because a Redditor probably doesn't even know the inside of a bathtub or the head of a shower. And when researching this, it made me sad because a lot of the creators that I end up binge watching for comfort, for when I'm procrastinating or when I'm crastinating, when I'm doing things, I had to steer away from a lot of that because it's just the same fucking algorithm of, oh, they have this disorder, let me laugh at them, let me get a little bit more content in, let me make my viewers laugh at the expense of someone who might be a fan of me, and even if they're not, let me give ammunition for more people to run to this person's comment section, hate follow them, and spam them until they can't keep their comments on. But not just that, then spread that, when they can't put their comments on, to people who could dox them, to people who could hurt them genuinely. And my question is why? I get it's for content, but genuinely, why the fuck are you doing this? And a creator that I attached to and that I respect so much because they are one of the only ones that are mainstream that I actually believe handle this with the most amount of tact is I'm Autistic, Now What? An absolute comfort YouTuber of mine. I love her so much. If you need a YouTuber that constantly brings you positive energy, maturity, but also just genuine, a comforting voice, that creator is exactly the one that you need to be going to. She doesn't go after the creators. Obviously not. She decides to like go after the Redditors that are creating this bullshit because that's what it is. Again, it's bullshit. When seeing this, I noticed a trend and I made a diagram because that's the type of girl that I am. I call this the cycle of hate. It begins when a YouTube video or a TikTok from an original creator is posted on Reddit, FakeDisorderCringe, for example. Then a YouTuber will react to that, or the TikTok creator will directly react to it. And you also get a little cycle right there where the YouTuber reacts to the TikTok or the TikTok reacts back, blah blah. And then the users decide to go to the TikTok page of whatever creator is being dogpiled at the moment, which leads to it just gaggles of hate. Hate galore, that. Very that. And then because of that massive hate, it'll just get filtered right back up to Fake Disorder Cringe. Anything that they do. Is that really what you want to be feeding to your users who believe that you're being positive 99% of the time? Because this 1% isn't positive for shit. It pisses me off. Another thing that I want to touch base on, which... Shut up. Also, I just want to touch base on something because I have seen it a lot A motherfucking lot. Well, I have this disorder, so this isn't real. This isn't how this looks. Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Got me fucked up, stupid hoe, stupid bitch.
Genuinely shut up. I'm sorry. Shut up. You are one person with this disorder. You have met one person with this disorder. So you have met one person with this disorder. You do not represent the whole. They do not represent you. You both can exist and exhibit traits differently, or exhibit some and not exhibit others. And you can both certifiably have this disorder. I don't know what the disconnect there is. Is it just because you want to join the amount of neurotypical people hating on your community right now? That's pathetic. Period. That's fucking that's cut that shit out, because you're not helping your community. Genuinely, you're not helping them, and you're not helping yourself doing this. They're not doing this for your benefit. The end of that conversation. That's another thing that I got from I'm Autistic Now What is you've met one person with autism. You've met one person with autism. You have not met everybody in the autistic community. Same goes for borderline. You have met one person with borderline personality disorder. So you've met one person with borderline personality disorder. You've met one person with histrionic. You've met one person. You're meeting me. I have histrionic. Do I look like what is portrayed in the media? Do I look like Harley Quinn? Is that what I'm giving right now? I hope so. She's Do I give Harley Quinn? Should put more work into it. Got it. That's another thing. You've met one person with DID. You've met one person with DID. I don't have DID. How would I know? And even if I did, how would I know? Because my system would be different from another system. And if you really were a part of your community, as a community, you would get those thoughts out of your motherfucking head. Because that's a rhetoric from people who have systematically abused you into their idea of normalcy. And you're helping that. That's disgusting. That's gross. That is just that in general. That is why I'm not covering this whatsoever. I'm covering this right now, which is covering why I'm never covering it. Because it's just begun to be a trend that disgusts me and tarnishes my view of creators that entertain me. But I'm not entertained by foolishness and tomfoolery. Fuck that. This is the worst fucking time to have a growing trend of that. We live at a time where mental health research has potentially devolved into putting autistic DNA in databases? Really, bitch? And you're worried about someone having DID. You're worried about someone faking autism, you know? You don't know, which is why you decided to hate on people who have disorders that you probably haven't even studied. And if you have, shame the fuck on you. Shame the fuck out of you. Because you're obviously not doing research enough. You're obviously not putting that research into the right place if you're on Reddit. There is no logical excuse to do this. There's no logical excuse. You are breeding more hate. For what? For views? It's unethical. It's unethical click farming. I only click farm ethically. Which is why I keep my titles vague. But y'all don't keep your titles vague. You decide to put fake disorder reacting to fake disorders. This is insane. It's not insane. Hateful people love to hate. Period. And by doing this, you're contributing. Period. In general, this is the type of shit that these communities are trying to dig themselves out of, and you're contributing to it with your platform of potentially millions of people. Think about that. That cycle of hate could lead to self-harm rising, even the slightest amount. Suicide rising, even the slightest amount. You kidding? I hope. But I also hope you're not, because I wish you never would have put this content up in the first place. Because it just Nothing good comes out of it. Nothing good. Nothing for the common good comes out of bashing people for having disorders that you don't even understand and telling them that they're not valid. And to the comments again of, well, I have this disorder. What if I said, as someone who is not autistic, to you, who has always needed very substantial support for autism, no, I think you're faking. I don't think that's real. That's not real. What if I invalidated something that you could certifiably say is true? And even if you gave me the certification that it was true, I still said,
well, you're cringe.
You would probably box the fuck out of me. And I would let that happen. Probably not. These hands are ready to eat for everybody. You could have an interesting, clickable title for literally anything else. You could have a funny, Google Gaga, whatever the fuck, for anything else. But you decided to choose this. Something that invalidates entire groups of people, or tries to invalidate, which is even worse, because you're giving other people a platform to say,
yeah, I agree with that too.
when they really shouldn't. When they probably should be in the shower bathing the fuck out of themselves. This is just a time where compassion is more than necessary and less than given. Don't be comparing your experiences or the experience of a cousin or a friend or a friend of a friend or a friend of a friend's child with someone that you saw on TikTok. Nothing good comes out of that. Nothing really comes out of that at all, except a feeling of invalidation against someone. And that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good. And it usually comes from someone who's had the privilege of never feeling that way. Or, unfortunately, it could also come from someone who has felt that way their entire life. But don't you want to be part of the front that helps people not feel that way for their entire lives? Because that's usually what the positive, happy people are trying to do. To help people like you, and not like you. Do better as people. Be more understanding as people. Feel safe as who they are as people. Get the help they need as people. That shouldn't be difficult to fucking comprehend, but I guess for about 80% of the population that ends up on social media, it is. You're probably wondering, why did I make this video in the first place? I'm just yappa, and nothing comes out of that. Something does come out of that. You click on this video, and I feel accomplished, and you maybe share it with a friend who needs this information, and I feel accomplished. And I edit it, and I feel funny. And I also just want to nip it in the bud. Do not request this content. I won't make it. This is the only serious video that I plan on making right now. There are probably a multitude of problems that I will be asked to cover that I might say no to. This is one of them. Because it's really not a problem to have basic human fucking empathy and say, you know what? It doesn't matter what I think this disorder looks like, because this disorder isn't for me to get. And if it is for me to get, it's for me to get myself. And it's for me to have compassion for someone else who might have it, especially if they have the same thing that I do, because I might have tips to help them, and they might have tips to help me. But instead, you're joining a neurotypical dogpile against someone that you don't know, that you've never met, that's just trying to live their life. What's the point of that? Do you feel better after it? I'm sure you do for a half a second. But after that, what? You go back to being oppressed by the people you say you're a part of? That's great. I don't know. Just something to think about. Hopefully this video was entertaining. The script was entertaining to make. I got a little pissed off, but it was entertaining to make. I'm not a psychologist. You might be. Tell me if I'm wrong. Feel your judge. I don't care. Love ya.